The United States makes a bold move on the global chessboard, only to see its closest allies regroup, not with it, but against it. Canada, the European Union, even Mexico. Are they forming a counterplay that Washington never saw coming? Is this the beginning of a new global economic order, or just a temporary clash of titans? Let's break it down. To understand why the European Union is joining forces with Canada to counter US tariffs, we need to rewind to 2018. That's when President Trump introduced sweeping tariffs on steel and aluminum, targeting not just rivals like China, but also allies like Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. These tariffs were framed as a way to protect American industries, but they sparked a chain reaction of retaliation and realignment. Today, the aftershocks are undeniable. Economic nationalism is redrawing alliances, forcing nations to rethink their loyalties and rewrite the rules of global trade. Let's explore how we got here, and where this might be headed. Supporters argue that Trump's tariffs protected American jobs and strengthened domestic industries, while critics point to rising costs, diplomatic fallout, and supply chain disruptions. The real question: was this a strategic power play or a long-term economic gamble? By imposing tariffs on allies and adversaries alike, the United States sent a clear message. It was willing to disrupt the global trading system to achieve its goals. This approach has created uncertainty, strained diplomatic ties, and forced other nations to rethink their economic strategies. Are these tariffs a negotiating tactic, or do they signal a deeper shift toward protectionism that could lead to prolonged economic conflict? For example, the U.S. steel industry initially saw a boost in production and employment, but the long-term effects are more complicated. Higher steel prices hurt downstream industries like automotive manufacturing, where companies faced increased costs and reduced competitiveness. Meanwhile, U.S. farmers bore the brunt of retaliatory tariffs, with soybean exports to China plummeting by 75% at one point. The ripple effects of these policies are still being felt, raising questions about their sustainability and long-term impact on the global economy. Canada and Mexico, two of America's closest trading partners, were hit with a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum in 2018. The rationale? National security. The United States argued that reliance on foreign metals threatened its defense industry, but critics called this a thinly veiled excuse to strong-arm Canada and Mexico into renegotiating NAFTA, now known as the USMCA. The move backfired in some ways, as both countries responded with their own tariffs and began exploring alternative partnerships. Was this a strategic miscalculation, or did the United States achieve its broader goals? For Canada, the tariffs were a direct hit to its steel and aluminum industries, which account for billions in exports to the United States. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the tariffs an affront to the long-standing security partnership between the two nations. Mexico, meanwhile, retaliated with tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, targeting politically sensitive states. The question remains: did these tariffs strengthen the U.S. position, or did they simply alienate key allies and disrupt North American supply chains? Canada's response wasn't just diplomatic. It hit home for businesses. From Ontario's steel mills to Quebec's aluminum plants, Canadian industries scrambled to adapt. Meanwhile, U.S. companies faced retaliatory tariffs on everything from whiskey to Harley-Davidsons. The trade war wasn't just policy, it was personal. More importantly, Canada has positioned itself as a leader in the fight against protectionism, advocating for multilateral trade agreements and closer ties with the EU. This raises an intriguing question. Is Canada stepping up as a counterbalance to U.S. economic dominance, or is it simply protecting its own interests in a shifting global landscape? Canada's efforts to diversify its trade relationships have been notable. It signed the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement with the EU, which eliminated 98% of tariffs between the two economies. It also joined the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade bloc that includes Japan, Australia, and other Pacific Rim nations. These moves signal a deliberate shift away from over-reliance on the U.S. market, but they also raise questions about the future of North American economic integration. The EU's decision to back Canada and Mexico isn't just about solidarity, it's about survival. By aligning with these nations, the EU is sending a message to the US. Economic coercion won't go unchallenged. The EU has also imposed its own tariffs on American goods, targeting politically sensitive industries like bourbon and motorcycles. This tit-for-tat approach reflects a broader strategy to defend the rules-based international order. But could this alliance also be a stepping stone toward a new economic bloc that bypasses the US altogether? The EU's support for Canada and Mexico is part of a larger effort to counterbalance US influence. By strengthening ties with these nations, the EU is not only protecting its own economic interests, but also promoting a vision of global trade that prioritizes multilateralism over unilateralism. This approach has resonated with many countries that feel sidelined by US protectionism, but it also raises questions about the EU's ability to maintain unity among its own member states, which have differing views on trade and economic policy. Mexico's relationship with the US is deeply intertwined, but Trump's tariffs have forced it to diversify. Mexico has strengthened trade ties with South America, Asia, and Europe, while also joining Canada in challenging US protectionism. This doesn't mean Mexico is abandoning the US. It's too economically dependent for that. But it is hedging its bets. Could this shift lead to a more balanced North American trade dynamic? Or will it further strain US-Mexico relations? For Mexico, the tariffs were a wake-up call. The country has since signed trade agreements with the EU, Japan, and several South American nations, reducing its reliance on the US market. At the same time, Mexico remains a key player in the USMCA, which governs trade in North America. This dual approach reflects Mexico's pragmatic strategy of maintaining strong ties with the US, while exploring new opportunities elsewhere. But as tensions persist, the question remains: can Mexico successfully navigate this delicate balancing act? While the US and its allies clash, China is watching closely and seizing opportunities. By positioning itself as a champion of free trade, China has signed new agreements with countries like Canada and Mexico, while also deepening ties with the EU. This isn't just about economics, it's about geopolitics. As the US alienates its allies, China is stepping into the void, expanding its influence and reshaping global trade networks. Is this the unintended consequence of Trump's trade policies? Or is it part of a larger trend that would have happened anyway? China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, is a prime example of its strategy to expand global influence. By investing in infrastructure projects across Asia, Africa, and Europe, China is creating new trade routes and strengthening economic ties with participating countries. At the same time, China has been quick to fill the void left by the US in markets like soybeans and natural gas, offering favorable terms to countries affected by US tariffs. This dual approach has allowed China to position itself as a reliable partner in an increasingly uncertain global economy. Denmark might seem like an unlikely player in this global drama, but its actions speak volumes. By resisting US pressure on issues like energy and trade, Denmark is asserting its independence and advocating for European unity. This reflects a broader trend. Smaller nations are no longer willing to passively accept the dictates of larger powers. Could Denmark's stance inspire other countries to push back against US dominance? Or is it an isolated case? Denmark's resistance to US pressure is particularly evident in its support for the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany. Despite strong opposition from the US, Denmark has approved the pipeline's route through its waters, citing the need for energy security and economic independence. This decision highlights the growing assertiveness of smaller nations in shaping global economic and geopolitical dynamics. The US has been pressuring the EU to abandon the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany. The Trump administration argues that this project undermines European energy security and benefits Russia. But for the EU, it's a matter of sovereignty and economic independence. By resisting US demands, the EU is signaling that it won't be bullied into aligning with American interests. Is this a turning point in transatlantic relations, or just another flashpoint in a long-standing dispute? The Nord Stream 2 pipeline has become a symbol of the growing divide between the US and the EU on energy policy. While the US views the pipeline as a threat to European security, the EU sees it as a way to diversify its energy sources and reduce reliance on US liquefied natural gas, LNG. This disagreement reflects broader tensions over economic sovereignty and the future of transatlantic relations. The idea of a new economic bloc comprising the EU, Canada, and Mexico isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. These nations share a commitment to multilateralism and free trade, and they've all been targeted by US tariffs. By working together, they could reduce their reliance on the US and create a counterweight to American economic power. But forming such an alliance would be no easy feat. It would require overcoming internal divisions and competing interests. Is this a realistic possibility, or just wishful thinking? The EU-Canada Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, is a key example of this potential alliance. By eliminating tariffs on 98% of goods, CETA has created a strong foundation for economic cooperation between the two regions. Meanwhile, Mexico's trade agreements with the EU and Canada further strengthen the case for a trilateral partnership. However, challenges remain, including differing regulatory standards and political priorities. The question is whether these nations can overcome these obstacles to create a unified front against US protectionism. The global economy is a delicate ecosystem, and Trump's trade policies have introduced significant uncertainty. By disrupting supply chains, raising costs, and sparking retaliatory measures, these tariffs could slow economic growth and even trigger a recession. The IMF has warned of the risks, and many economists agree. But others argue that the US economy is strong enough to weather the storm. The question is, are we seeing the early signs of a global downturn, or is this just a temporary disruption? The impact of the trade war has been felt across industries and regions. In the US, farmers have struggled to find new markets for their products, while manufacturers face higher costs for imported materials. In China, the trade war has contributed to a slowdown in economic growth, with ripple effects across Asia. Meanwhile, Europe has been caught in the crossfire, with its export-driven economy particularly vulnerable to disruptions in global trade. As tensions persist, the risk of a broader economic downturn continues to loom. One of the most striking consequences of Trump's trade policies is the growing alignment between US allies and China. Countries like Canada, Mexico, and EU members are increasingly looking to China as a trading partner and a counterbalance to American influence. This shift could have long-term implications for global power dynamics. Is the US inadvertently accelerating China's rise, or is this trend overstated? China's growing influence is particularly evident in its trade relationships with Canada and Mexico. Both countries have signed new agreements with China, reducing their reliance on the US market. At the same time, China has deepened its ties with the EU through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative. While these developments are concerning for the US, they also raise questions about China's ability to sustain its economic expansion and manage its growing global responsibilities. Economic tensions have a way of spilling over into other areas, and NATO is no exception. Trump's criticism of NATO members for not spending enough on defense, combined with his trade policies, has strained transatlantic relations. Some worry that this could weaken NATO and undermine U.S. military alliances. But others argue that shared security interests will keep these alliances intact. Is economic nationalism a threat to NATO, or is the alliance stronger than it seems? The strain on NATO is particularly evident in the debate over defense spending. While the U.S. has pressured its allies to increase their contributions, many European countries have resisted, citing domestic economic priorities. At the same time, the trade war has created additional friction, with some European leaders questioning the reliability of the U.S. as a partner. As tensions persist, the question is whether NATO can adapt to these new challenges and maintain its cohesion in an increasingly uncertain world. As we've seen, the EU's decision to join Canada in resisting U.S. tariffs is more than just a trade dispute. It's a reflection of deeper shifts in the global order. The U.S. remains the world's most powerful nation, but its actions are pushing its allies to explore new partnerships and strategies. Whether this leads to a new economic alliance, a closer relationship with China, or a fractured Western bloc, one thing is clear. The rules of the game are changing. The global chessboard is shifting, and the U.S. may no longer control the next move. Is this the start of a new economic order or just a temporary standoff? You decide. We're glad you're enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your screen.